This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
It's time to talk King and Queen of the Ring, as we now have two winners that were favorites going in, but deservingly so. And I think the two winners of Gunther and Nia Jax make sense, especially when you look at the fact that the stipulations or the rewards for winning said tournament have gone up and actually have real rewards to be had. And even Triple H in the pre-show said that, you know, it's more than just being able to say you can call yourself king or queen, that there's actually something of substance on the line. And that was something, I think, in direct response to some criticism of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. And I was really glad to see that there's really something on the line and something they can build towards every single year if they're making this an annual thing. It seems like they are, because it's a hell of a tournament to have to go through, and then you get back, and like I said before, you get to the end of the tournament, and you can wear a crown for as long as you want. There's actually something to be had here, and just like Money in the Bank, King and Queen of the Ring very much do have a heel connotation to it. Like the winner tends to be a heel, and I think we're going to see that moving forward past WrestleMania. If King and Queen of the Ring is going to be after WrestleMania in this time slot, I think you're going to continue to see heels, because typically babyfaces are the one to overcome the heels at WrestleMania, and you know, usually they'll hold the belts till SummerSlam, and you slide a heel in there to face them at SummerSlam, and then you're off and running. And I really think it's something that heels are meant to win, as well as Money in the Bank. Not always. It's just but a general rule of thumb is that heels are usually the victors here. And we'll dive into that. We'll dive into all of the matches that had happened at King and Queen of the Ring. Some really good, some good. Didn't really have any bad ones per se. I did see the tag match with the defense of the women's tag team titles with Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I did see that match, so maybe we'll comment on that. But also, we got some voicemails at the back end of the show. We'll see how many we can get through. Maybe a couple. We'll throw a couple out there and get to them at the back end of the show after our official review of King and Queen of the Ring, which took place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And I've got some things to say about that too, which is just it's not great. All right, it's not great. But I thought the event. Let me just say this before those of you who want to jump me for being negative all the time. I thought the PLE overall was well done, from at least the in-ring action. In-ring action, very well done as always. There just seemed to be a lot of filler, a ton of filler. Somebody should do the math. Okay, somebody out there needs to do the math, because I'm too lazy. How much bell-to-bell action was there in that 3-4 hour span? Somebody needs to give me a number. It's got to be like an hour and a half tops of the whole PLE. And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but probably not by much. But we'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to welcome you to the WWE Podcast. I want to welcome all the new patrons who have joined us. And I know there were a couple of you who have joined us over the last couple of days as we got closer to the PLE. And Alex Ward, thank you for joining us over at patreon.com for an ad-free experience. And I know you can join Alex and all the other patrons at patreon.com/WWE podcast if you want to go ad-free, as well as on Apple Podcasts. So one more thing before we dive into the loveliness that is the propaganda machine of Saudi Arabia, is that Anthony DeMarco will be dropping. I'll be dropping his show shortly, probably early tomorrow morning if you're listening to this, early Monday morning on the East Coast. So stay tuned for that. It's his take of the PLE, so you're not going to want to miss that for the After Dark version of the show, and that is exclusive to those on Patreon on the SmackDown tier and above. So Anthony DeMarco is going to be coming to you unfiltered in short order. Okay, so the propaganda machine rolls on. And let me say this up front, and I continue to defend this. WWE is a for-profit organization. Their primary motivation is making money. Love it or hate it or think it's evil. That's what for-profits are in existence for, to make a profit. I know some people hate that. Some people, they should be more worried about the community and making a good impact. Okay, well, they wouldn't exist if they don't have money. So money is first and foremost. So it can come at the expense of some bad things, bad motivations. You know, not everything that comes out of being handed money is good. We know that. But I just wanted to defend WWE off the top for, at least from the perspective of understanding just business 101, that this is a good business decision financially. They are making money hand over fist with this deal with Saudi Arabia. Okay. And some of the negative that comes with that is what Saudi Arabia has traditionally stood for, what they continue to stand for, and the requirements, it seems, that they have for these PLEs when it comes to content on the show. I know that WWE visits France and they're visiting Scotland and they've been to Australia and they do some kind of, a little bit of a, hey, come down and see us. We're a nice country to visit. There's a little bit of that. With Saudi Arabia, it feels like it's one big 4-hour infomercial to go visit Saudi Arabia as some kind of imaginary vacation destination. They're trying to pretend that it's one. And it feels very much like WWE, the wrestling is secondary to all the propaganda. It's incredible. Now, again, I probably exaggerate as I do a little bit, but I don't know if it's by a lot. There were also a ton more video packages than I've ever seen in this show. And maybe it's just because I never really pay attention to all of them all the time. Was it me, or did the propaganda and the constant recaps and all the secondary stuff of go to this event, go to that event, we're advertising for these 4 events, and it felt on top of the propaganda nonsense that it was all very much a, hey, we're going to give you 30 minutes of wrestling and then an hour of propaganda. I don't know. It felt very much like that. And maybe all the events have been like this and I've been blind to it or didn't want to see it. I don't know. This one felt a little different. So that's why I wanted to say I loved the in-ring part of the show. The in-ring part of the show was very, very good. All the matches delivered, I thought. The booking also made sense. All right, we're going to get into the wrestling part. But considering that a lot of the show was not wrestling, I wanted to point that out because it's suffocating and frustrating when you're listening to a bunch of nonsense be spewed that they don't even believe, but they're obligated because of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's higher ups likely have executive meetings with WWE higher ups. And they say, hey, here are the bullet points we want you to say. Here are the things that we are requiring you to say if you want to get our paycheck. You want us to write that check? Say these things about our country. They're trying to change the way that people view Saudi Arabia, yet nothing has really changed. If you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, okay, they're talking about women, all the progress women have made in WWE, right? And that's a big thing. Yet they're going to a country that still, to this day in 2024, has a dress code for women. Now, that you may say, well, that happens around the world. Yeah, it does. There's a lot of religious places that you can go that if you're a part of a religion that you have, you want to participate voluntarily, that you wear certain garments and it's part of the tradition. If you're a woman in Saudi Arabia, you just by default of being there have to wear certain clothing. And we're supposed to celebrate this? and then pretend that there's some kind of vacation destination. Now, it may be beautiful in some parts of the country. I've never been. All right. Never been. But what they're trying to show you is like the best of the best. It's almost like watching North Korea's propaganda videos where they'll show you what they want you to see. They'll show you what that they hope you only focus on, and that they want you to perceive in your mind as that's the only thing that's there is beauty and opportunity and fun. And 90% of it is slums, violence, oppression. That's the part that they don't want you to see. It felt more heavy-handed than usual this time. Of just, come to Saudi Arabia. But if you're a woman, by the way, you have a dress code. I mean, it's just absurd. The women only recently were able to drive in the country. Just recently. And we're supposed to celebrate this as some kind of grand achievement? I mean, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not, you know me. I am the anti-feminist, right? Like I am for what feminism stands for today. Again, in the United States, I oppose nearly every single viewpoint they have, but just general human existence. If you're a woman and you have a dress code and you're a man and you don't, that seems a little off balance. I mean, and again, there's a lot of other things that women still can't do in that country. Go Google it. Okay, I'm going to get off this. I know this is about wrestling, but I wanted to bring it up off the top because it's the country that they continue to get paid from and handsomely paid from. And I don't blame them for wanting and liking money. But there was a lot of just, come visit us. Look how fun we are. Look at the party. Look at the palm trees. Look at the beach. If you're a woman, you got to wear certain stuff. But come on down. Come on down. Have a good time. I don't know. As somebody pointed out to me, every PLE they do feels dirty. And it doesn't get better. After all these years of them doing Saudi events, it still doesn't feel right. It feels gross. All right. I'm not sitting here pretending to be offended on behalf of somebody else. All right. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not sitting here saying, I'm not going to watch and protest. No, I'm going to effing watch. Just like those people that say they're not going to watch, they still watch. But they say that to get attention and to try to make some grand point or some grand stand that I'm not. Stop it. You're watching. But just to say that they're in a country that is icky when it comes to what we, at least in the Western culture, believe. Because remember, not everybody here in the United States and around the world believe what we believe, right? Basic human rights, equal under the law, that kind of stuff. That does not and is not what a lot of people believe in a lot of countries. We think that everyone in the United States or around the world thinks like us, and they don't. They don't. So I'm going to get off my bandwagon, but I wanted to bring it up. It was egregious this time. And beyond that, beyond all the propaganda stuff, I mean, they even shoved in WWE. They shoved in some like women's empowerment movement or something about like women in business, as if the Saudi Arabian government has done a turnabout face on this whole thing. And there's a women empowerment segment here about like women in business or something. And again, trying to smash glass ceilings that don't exist anymore here in the United States. Like that they've long been gone, but they're trying to create more so that it can look like there's more to break and more to achieve. To me, hey, listen, let me just point this out and I'll get right to wrestling. I promise. To me, everything, every job, every profession, every position, every area of employment, every organization that has an area that of need for employment should base their hiring on one characteristic. One. You know what that is? Merit. That's it. That's it. And if you're not, obviously you can be sued, right? There's a whole lot of legal things that you can do if you believe that if you're being fired or if you're being not given a position because of anything other than your merit. But obviously, sex, obviously, skin color should have absolutely nothing to do with you being hired or not being hired in any position at all. So that's how I feel. Very across the board, fair system that I have in my mind. That's how I would run everything. And it's the way things should run and how we're told things run in the United States. But anyway, people love to pretend that they're victims because victimhood has power. But let's move on. All right. So let's get into the matches. If y'all are still here with me and going, is this a wrestling podcast or is this political? All right. Well, Saudi Arabia, I will say, gives us a lot of political things to talk about because of all the issues that they have. All right. Because of everything that they stand for and have stood for just recently, and WWE is kind of forced to kind of, toe the line, so to speak, for what Saudi Arabia wants the rest of the world to view them as, which is a bunch of nonsense. Okay, let's get into the wrestling. That's why you're here. Well, if you're still here, here we go. Okay. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell for the women's tag titles. This is on the pre-show, okay? This ended with Jade and Bianca, as you'd imagine, defeating Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell in 8 minutes to retain the women's tag titles. Smart to put the women on the pre-show. In a culture that doesn't exactly prop up women, okay, in one that for a long time had actual, not imaginary like in the United States, but real oppression, a systematic system of oppression of women. It was smart to put this match at the beginning where the crowd's the hottest, they're the most invested in what's going to happen. Smart positioning, as some of the other women's matches were too. But Jade and Bianca winning made total sense here. There's zero chance of LeRae and Hartwell winning. You knew there was no chance. I think that everybody really at this point is focused on what Jade is doing. How is she improving? What does she do? How does she look? It seems now that Jade and Bianca both have a combined finish. I forget the name of it, but it ended with I think it was what do you call it? I can't remember the name, but Cargill held on to LeRae. She was kicked upward by Belair into a cyclone suplex, and then Belair got the cover on LeRae for the victory. But again, fine match, made sense. Give Jade some minutes. That's really what it was. All right, here go to the main card. And obviously a ton of interviews backstage, a ton of recaps. It was crazy. It was crazy how many recaps. I'm not talking about the propaganda stuff. We've been through that. More of just like constant interviews, constant, just backstage stuff, people arriving. It just like, by the time you get to the PLE, it's like, can we just get to the damn match? I don't know. I felt a little saucy about the in-between fluff on this PLE. And also, well, I'll get to that in a minute with Triple H. I got some interesting comments about him, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's still to me up for grabs, so to speak. But let's get to Becky versus Liv Morgan for the women's world title in a match that I really enjoyed here. This was as good as advertised, maybe even a little better in my estimation. Crowd was hot. Again, they put the women's match at the beginning. Smart. And we got off to a fast start. Morgan held onto the ropes when Lynch went for a maneuver and then took offense briefly. And then, Graves was questioning whether the temperature was really 75 degrees inside the venue. And later felt he shed 4 pounds since they went on the air. And this match went 16 minutes. The real wild card here was obviously Dominic Mysterio, who appeared at ringside, and God, his look is getting better by the day. Mustache, the mullet, the whole nine. It's beautiful. But Dom appeared at ringside, still in the sling, and Lynch in the ring. Let's see. Oh, she went for a manhandle slam. Morgan hit a code breaker for a near fall and then went up to the top and was cut off by Lynch. Dom slid a chair inside the ring towards Lynch while the referee checked on Morgan, and then Dom climbed on the apron and distracted the referee while Morgan hit the DDT onto the chair, and Morgan followed it up with Oblivion and got the victory to crown a new Women's World Champion. So Liv Morgan wins, and the idea that you're supposed to have in your head, I would think, is, was Dom trying to help Liv, or was Dom trying to help Becky? And why? What's happening? Is, we all believe that there's an affair going on behind the scenes with Liv and Dom. What's Rhea going to do when she returns and sees what Dom has been doing and accuses him of cheating? And I mean, Rhea's going to go full babyface on this whole thing because Dom will eventually get caught red-handed and break Rhea's heart, and then you'll hate Dom even more. And Dom and Liv will eventually become a couple on air, of course, not in real life, but in wrestling world, they'll become a couple, which is going to be a lot of fun to see how Rhea manages and navigates that for the first time in her career, having to deal with an emotional program where fans are, actually care about who she's dating on air, and what Dom is doing on air with the whole love triangle. It's going to be a fun mid to late summer when she returns, and we'll have to see how that whole thing is navigated. But the idea is, who was Dom trying to help? Who was he really trying to help? So this is all well done. Liv Morgan gets the victory in 16 minutes. We have a new Women's World Champion. I have no issue with this whatsoever. I understand Becky had a quick reign. Who cares? As I've said, and as many of you, I think, echo my sentiment, is we like Becky, but meh. Like, we've been there, done that. Becky could never win a women's championship again, and really almost no one would care. So, I mean, again, Becky just needs more than anything in her career a shot in the arm of something, a change, a heel turn. I'm not sure what the answer is. I continue to say that because I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do. But I do know when something needs a change, and I stand by that. Something needs to change with Becky. And I'm not talking about her hair or whatever stupid hat she wants to talk about that's cute, or whatever, weird promo, or trying to make a promo rhyme. No. None of that crap. I'm talking like a fundamental change with her character. So, all right. We then have Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed versus Chad Gable in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun in this matchup. This one also, to me, exceeded my expectations. All three men worked very well together, took crazy risks. They certainly busted their ass. The suplexes, or the double, triple suplexes that they did on each other, were high risk, but well done. Bronson Reed, I think, had a very good night. Yeah, I understand he didn't, he took the pinfall. Who cares? And the reason I say who cares is Bronson Reed is not in the stage of his career where you really believe he could win anything significant yet, but he's in the matches where he's at least being given minutes with a guy or guys that are above him. So he's getting the proverbial rub from bigger stars, and that's what you need to do with Bronson Reed right now, is give him minutes, give him recognition, give him the good old character development, which is what he needs right now. So that's what this is about for me. So I'm not worried about Bronson Reed. For any of you fans out there that are concerned about him, this was, as advertised, much more about the Otis situation, what he would do, and you knew that the decision of the match was going to hinge on something Otis did or didn't do or did accidentally. And in this case, it was the latter. It was something that he did accidentally, as he was about to hit Zayn, hesitated, and then he went for a clothesline, but Sammy ducked, and Otis clotheslined Chad Gable on the outside of the ring. The crowd popped like crazy. So clearly people are waiting for this moment to happen. That ended up obviously costing Chad Gable the match because he was not involved in the decision, as we got Bronson Reed getting hit with a haluva kick. And 1, 2, 3 retains the championship. Sammy retains. And it's still the right move to me. Now, do I want to see Chad Gable win the IC belt? Yes, I do. I think Chad Gable is one of the most improved stars in the last several months. And we haven't even seen the best of it yet. I mean, what happens when it implodes? What happens to Otis? Does he get a boost from this, or is it just a one shot and then he's kind of lost in the sauce? We're going to see. But boy, I mean, I never get bored of watching Sammy and Chad wrestle at all. So 13 minutes, by the way, and 40 seconds for those of you counting at home. But the crowd really loves Zayn here. And again, the moment of that match was Sammy winning, but also having Otis clothesline Chad Gable. That was what you're waiting for. So, all right, Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jax in the Queen of the Ring tournament final. This was 9 minutes and 40 seconds with Nia Jax beating Lyra Valkyria to win the Queen of the Ring, and it ended with Valkyria slipping off of Jax on the ropes and went for a sunset bomb, but Jax countered into an Annihilator and got the victory. Really nice match here, and the crowd, or rather the announcers, were putting her over too with the things that I've been saying about her. Not that they're hearing my show and echoing my sentiments. They clearly are more intimate with the product than I am, but echoing the same thing I've been saying, that she's found her confidence. She's found who she is, from leaving the company kind of disgraceful. I don't know if disgraceful is the word, but not beloved by the fans and by any means, with all of her injury, associations behind her and attached to her. She really reinvented herself. She gave herself a little bit of a new look, the hair, music, but more importantly, her in-ring and promos are really where her bread and butter has been over the last several months. The lead up to Mania was great. Working with Becky Lynch was great. She's had very few stinker matches for the size that she is. She sells very well. She doesn't try to be anything that she's not. She doesn't try to do anything that she shouldn't do, like Hurricane Ranas and moonsaults. She sticks to what she is, and that's a big woman, a powerful woman that acts like a giant in the women's division. She does sell when needed, no doubt, but I think she has figured out finally who she is. And after this, Triple H comes out holding the Queen of the Ring crown and hugged Jax and spoke to her. Jax seemed to be crying, and obviously she's going to earn a women's title shot at SummerSlam, probably against Bayley, probably. And Nia Jax seemed to be legitimately moved by the victory. So good for her. Now, with Triple H coming out, this is where I'm conflicted about how I feel about Triple H. He's on a lot of stuff. He was post-Mania. How many times did we hear him flexing his muscle about WrestleMania 40 and the records that were broken and this and that? And I feel like I'm getting a little bit Triple H'd out. For all the things and all the respect I have for him, all the accomplishments he's had, all the respect I have for him, and the appreciation I have for him, it's kind of weird that everyone knows he's the chief content officer. He's the one that obviously makes the decisions. So you're just seeing him, he's in an environment where you're not supposed to think, at least on paper, that he's the guy making all the decisions, but we obviously all know he is. So he's out there doing the things that he wrote himself to do. It's weird. It's weird. Like when Cody called him out after WrestleMania to come out and say, hey, I did it. And it's like Triple H is like, yeah, I know. I wrote the story, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of bizarre. Like, it's hard to detach that part of it because Triple H is the one calling the shots. it was weird too. Like if you guys saw the pre-show, Triple H is conducting an interview saying, I'm going to be like everyone. He said this, something I'm paraphrasing, that he's going to be just like everyone else in his office with bated breath, seeing who's going to win. It's like, no, you're not. You're not. You're going to be there. You've already made the decision. You're sitting there. You might as well have just said this. Just be honest with us. No, you wait till you guys see who I chose to win. Wait till you see the matchup. It's going to be great. And the men's side as well. I've already chosen the winner. I mean, honestly, and some people may say, well, it's like Vince McMahon. Everyone knew Vince McMahon was running the company. Here's the difference. Vince McMahon played a character. Triple H is just playing Paul Levesque. Like, all he's playing is Chief Content Officer. Big difference. It's a bizarre feeling. I don't like it. I just don't. Not that I don't like Triple H. I just don't like the feeling of having Triple H, who's, making the decisions out there, like executing his own decisions. It doesn't sit right with me. So he's out there. And again, not only that, but I just feel like he's kind of out there too much. I feel like he's too visible. I mean, again, I'm not going to die over this decision. I always appreciate Triple H. He's always a good promo. You know what kind of content, quality you're going to get with him. He's a professional. But there is it's kind of being a little bit Paul Levesque out. And then he did it with the men's as well, and we'll get there. But all right. So we then have, let's see, Becky was interviewed backstage. She was all flustered about the decision as well, and she was not happy, but she has a rematch clause. So on Raw, I guess she's getting a rematch for the women's title. We all know how that's going to go. But then we have Randy Orton versus Gunther. And this felt as big as I'd hoped it would feel. And I don't think it got the build that it deserved as far as Gunther versus Randy and what it means. And the crowd really was into Randy here. They loved Randy Orton. The Gunther got the appropriate reaction to, being booed, and crowd really against him. And Cole noted that the only time the King of the Ring winner was given a shot at the world title was when Brock Lesnar won in 2002 and went on to win the championship. That was an interesting stat. So my God, 22 years ago. So, the crowd was really into this. Orton finally hit an RKO, but was too injured to do anything about it from his knee. Gunther rolled out. There was a back suplex, front to back, belly, not a belly to back suplex. What was that? Maybe that's what it's called. On the table that Randy always does. And Orton battled back. He finally hit a power slam. And then Gunther, what did he do here? He set up for a power bomb. Orton backdropped him on the floor. And we then have, let's see here. I'm reading the description, as you can tell, but I'm trying not to give you a play-by-play as we all just saw it. So Orton hit Gunther with an RKO. Orton covered Gunther. Again, this is the second RKO, but he was selling a bad knee, and Gunther kicked out, which almost never happens, by the way. And they were trying to tell you, well, it's because Orton wasn't able to really put all his weight on Gunther to keep him down because he had that injured leg, which is a nice selling point. I mean, Orton did a great job selling that knee. My God, this dude doesn't age. And that's when, let's see here, Gunther kicked out, and he then hooked Orton in a pin and got the 3 count. So we have a new King of the Ring in Gunther. He gets a title shot at SummerSlam. The only weird thing about this, and even Corey Graves pointed this out, so I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill. WWE themselves, Corey Graves, brought it up on their on the show, that he wants to see a replay of that because Orton's shoulders, especially his left shoulder, was like 3 inches off the mat. I don't know if that's going to become a story, but it was a big gaffe if it is not. Because the ref has one job. Like, you have one job, bro. You just make sure when you go for the 3 count that the opponent's shoulders are on the mat. That's it. And clearly Orton's was not, but we got the 3 count. So again, They may ignore it. Maybe it wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe it was a miscue by Orton. He couldn't get himself into a position, whatever the case. It could be absolutely turning into nothing, but Corey Graves did point it out. And it was very obvious. Which I got to say, if they turn this into a thing, I don't want them to. I want Orton to just lose clean. It's okay. I don't mind Gunther beating Orton clean. It can happen. It should happen at this point in Orton's career. No one's going to hurt. Orton's not going to get hurt by that. Gunther could only gain. Orton can't lose. Orton can't lose anything. He has a impenetrable shield around him at this stage of his life and his career. There's nothing you could do. He is locked in. But Gunther needs help. Continued help to continue to rise, and he's done an awesome job. So if this is going to turn into a thing of, oh, my shoulders, it's like, but just give him the damn clean win. So we'll see, though. We'll see. All right. Well, again, Triple H comes out to present the crown to Gunther. Well deserved. And I think right call here. And then we have, let's see, LA Knight was in the crowd. Mike Rome stood in the ring and introduced, God, I can't pronounce his name. Ibrahim Al-Hajjaj is the ring announcer. Is he some kind of like entertainer over there? I don't know. Every time I see him, he gets involved in seemingly the main events, and maybe that's also part of the contract. He has no business getting involved. For what? I know he's beloved over there. And I've said this phrase a lot. Who cares? He didn't have any business here. None. But Cody Rhodes and United States champion Logan Paul then competed only for the WWE Championship. And Ibrahim introduced both men. And Ryan Tran was the referee, if you care about such things. And my God, this match was, as I've said for the other 4 matches, as advertised. I mean, Logan Paul, this guy's from outer space. He cannot be of the human species. He can't be. To be this good, this quick, with so few matches in front of a live audience is impossible to believe. Cody Rhodes obviously did his part, doing what he does. Very good in-ring wrestling. Obviously, we know what caliber of performer he is. Logan Paul continues to deliver. He has not had a bad match yet. He is one of the most athletic men that the company has. Just incredible. And this match went 24 minutes. And you knew the brass knucks were going to get involved. The low blow was a nice touch. Cole's issue with Logan Paul is interesting. I don't know what it means or what it's going to, but Cole is like the moral overlord of the actions of Logan Paul, where Cole calls out Logan Paul every time he does something underhanded. He called him a loser, and then Corey Graves had to step in. And obviously the brass knucks get involved. He hit Cody in the ribs with it. And, that didn't work. We got a ref bump, and Cody did almost get hit with the brass knucks in the face, but the beloved local hero that no one else in the world knows ends up, I guess he was pulling on the leg. I think he was pulling on the leg of Logan Paul. And Paul ended up saying, "Who are you?" And it's like, yeah, exactly. And the referee, after Cody took the advantage of the distraction because he hits his crossroads 3 times, his obligatory 3 times, which is, I'm going to get to some stuff about Cody in a minute, as you'd expect. But Cody hits 3 crossroads, 1, 2, 3, and still your Universal Champion, undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes. After the match, Cody went to ringside and thanked Ibrahim for his help and raised his arm. And all right. Again, very good wrestling match. These two, while the outcome wasn't too much in jeopardy, it was at least one that you can hang your hat on of being how badly are they going to, or not how badly, how well are they going to blow the roof off this place? And they did. Crowd was really into it. Now, said all the good. Guys, I don't understand how you cheer for this man. I don't understand. Obviously, his constant, every time he gets out of a vehicle, he just resorts to a smile. He's smiling about everything all the time, which is obnoxious. You have him shaking the hands of every fan in the arena. I mean, first of all, the amount of germs on your hands, bro. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, but that's just, I mean, he went to the nth degree of like, shaking everyone's hand, but not really that bothered me so much as he's smiling to all the fans like a dork. He was shaking the hands of the ring announcer and the announcers and, just being Mr. Cordial. And you know what? I know what you're going to say. Well, don't they deserve some respect? Yeah, of course they do. I think they're unsung heroes. Ring announcers are overlooked. Referees are overlooked. Ring announcers are overlooked. Yeah, a lot of times they're just invisible, but they're an essential part of the process. Absolutely, they deserve respect. But I know what I don't know what the word is for Cody Rhodes now that he's trying to, I don't know. I don't know if he knows he's doing this on purpose, or if he doesn't care, or if the people watching him don't care. I don't know how people gravitate to such a soft, feminine champion. I'm sorry. Again, there's nothing wrong with being a nice guy, but this is going over the top. This is just like, I'm the everyman. Okay, it doesn't matter how high I get. I'm still going to treat everybody with respect and go out of my way to talk to those, who aren't as fortunate. It feels, I feel like he's going to tell us next week he's volunteering at soup kitchens over the weekend. I feel like that's what he's going to tell us next. I don't know how people gravitate to this guy. He's just a cuddly, soft. I know he fires up and he gets angry in his matches. But does he really? Does he really? No. Like he hulks up occasionally. But like I don't know. I don't know how. I just don't understand the psychology of how people gravitate to this man. I don't get it. But yes, you guys knew I was going to talk about the handshaking. I mean, I had to shake the hand of everyone. Are we going to see this every single week now? Is he now obligated to shake the hand of Samantha Irvin every week? Is he going to go out and shake the cameraman's hand and say, hey, buddy, hey, you're doing a great job filming me? I mean, is he going to turn next week on Raw, turn his back? I'm sorry, SmackDown. Is he going to turn his back to the hard cam and tell us, if you'll indulge me for just a second, I'd like to talk to my friends behind me? Like, are we going to have to deal with that? This dude is a heel. This dude is a heel, and somehow with his music and his woes, we've all been just cast under this spell of a bleach blonde sing-along who's very good in the ring. But you guys have all been cast under a spell. And I don't know how you break that spell, because it doesn't seem there's any organic movement to boo him at all, which is very surprising. But I don't know. This is just not my kind of champion, as you'd imagine. It's getting worse by the week. He just continues to find a way every week to be softer, more relatable, more feminine. And again, there's nothing wrong with being feminine, but when you're a man, I don't think you should be feminine, because feminine qualities are traditionally made for women. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's why there are two sexes. That's good. That's a good thing. We balance each other. But with Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion, he elicits qualities that I just can't relate to as someone I would want to see as our champion of wrestling. And he finds a way every week to somehow become more soft every week. So, hey, you guys continue to cheer him for what. But again, very good match. Logan Paul and he put on a hell of a show, put a hell of a main event on, and I give both the men credit, and hats off. But all right, that'll conclude the whole review of the PLE. But let's get to a couple voicemails. I don't know how many I'm going to get through here. It's almost midnight where I'm at here, and I want to get to sleep. But let's at least get one in and see how I feel.
Hey Matt, New York Kyle back again. I know it's, first of all, I want to say I know it's been a couple weeks since I called in. I've just been really busy. Just personal stuff, work stuff, just really busy. I was listening to your Raw review. And when you were talking about, the thing you're talking about Sasha Banks. I want to talk about Sasha Banks. I'm not offended by you at all, obviously. You're not a fan of her right now. Respectful debate. I'm not going to be Ricochet and just be a crybaby. But so when she was in WWE, Sasha Banks, that's the part I disagree with you on personally. And I understand why you don't like her though. You have a good point and good reason why. I get it. I get why you didn't like her that much. Well, I get that you didn't care for her promos in WWE. I'll admit it. Yeah, she's not a very good promo. I only loved her there because of her in the ring, like her wrestling. But I understand why you didn't like her. I personally am a big fan of Sasha Banks. Mercedes Moné, on the other hand, in AEW, I agree with you completely. She's terrible now. She's terrible. Basically, I know they're the same person and all, but basically, in my opinion, I love Sasha Banks. I can't stand Mercedes Moné. And this is coming from a guy who watches WWE and AEW both every week. And this is a guy whose favorite female wrestler of all time is Sasha Banks. And even I'm saying, yeah, in AEW, she's not impressed. Willow Nightingale, the champion that she's challenging, Willow Nightingale is even better. Willow Nightingale actually has improved on the mic and the ring massively over the last month and a half. Willow Nightingale actually, honestly, at this point, if Tony Khan has Sasha beat Willow Nightingale for the title at Double or Nothing, the pay-per-view, I think it's a mistake, actually. I honestly think Mercedes is probably winning it because Tony Khan didn't sign her to a multi-million-dollar deal to not have her win her first title match. She's gonna win. So honestly, I think it's a mistake. Willow should retain. Willow Nightingale's been actually great. So, again, big fan of Sasha, but I totally agree with you on Mercedes. She's been terrible. She's been cringy. She's been underwhelming. This was a big signing Tony Khan did. Sorry, I'm at work. I was saying that myself. For such a big signing that Tony got in Mercedes, she's not impressed at all. She's been very underwhelming. But anyway, that's my hot take. By the way, I hope everyone enjoys King, Queen of the Ring. I didn't send my predictions in the email this week because I know, Matt, you're a little bit behind stuff, so I didn't want to, be out of date with my stuff. But yeah, that's all for this week. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Hey, Kyle, good to hear from you. And yeah, listen, I know that you're a fan of Sasha. I never really bought in to her character. Her promos just, to me, overshadowed so much of what she did in the ring, which was very good, and no doubt about it. She was one of the big names when it came to the women's revolution in WWE, and in ring, she's very good. I mean, think of the main event she put on, with Charlotte or with Becky, right? Like any of those women. No doubt, she's very good in the ring, and she does have a presence, and she's a very good-looking woman. She has all that going for her. To me, though, it's the one negative, but boy, is it a big one. It's not just, this little quirk here and there bothers me. No. For me, like you said, though, especially Mercedes Moné, and I've only caught some clips here and there because I can't stomach the character. It's the worst things about Sasha Banks to me on steroids. It's her attitude, her promo. She thinks the way she's delivering the promo is better than it is. You can tell that she feels the way she's delivering it, she thinks she's killing it, and she's not at all. It comes off very much like a performance, very much like you don't even believe what you're saying because I don't believe what you're saying. Just arrogant, but to the point where it's off-putting in a big way. And think about this. AEW is the place where there's no promos that are written unless you want it to be written. Creative freedom is at an all-time high. And if Mercedes Moné is what Mercedes, her real name, Sasha Banks in WWE, if that is what she has always wanted to present was this character and not have any scripts written for her, then this is really more who she is. than what we saw in WWE. So if we're really seeing a more real version of her, that makes me dislike her even more. Again, not taking away her credit, her accomplishments. Easily a Hall of Famer in WWE. No question about it. Do I think we'll see her back in WWE at some point? Yes. Is it going to be when her contract expires? Perhaps. But I think she's done full-time in WWE. I don't think there's anything left for her to prove. But, I mean, I totally get it. Hey, she's one of your favorite wrestlers. I understand why. I liked her entrance. It was fun. She did have some okay moments on the mic. Not every one was horrible. I think I'm overstating it a bit. In ring, she nearly always delivered. She did have a presence, as I said, and she had some memorable runs, and she was just obnoxious as hell on the mic, even when she was a baby face. I wanted to I couldn't stand her. Her arrogance comes through in a way it's overwhelming. And that's really that's really what it is that it's such a big negative for me that it almost overshadows everything else I think about her, is because of her promos and her voice and her laugh and just how she thinks she's delivering cute, fun lines, but they're horrible and they're embarrassing. I cannot watch Mercedes Moné without feeling secondhand embarrassment. I actually start blushing. I'm not even kidding. Like that sounds like I'm exaggerating, and I know I exaggerate a lot. But I feel embarrassed, like I'm the one who is performing this, who is saying this, who has come up with this, who has approved of this. Even if I'm alone with no one in the room, I feel like I start blushing because it's cringy, as you said. She is, to a T, or Mercedes Moné specifically, cringy. And you look at her, and I see her in AEW for the clips I've seen, and I've seen a couple of longer clips. I didn't just look at pictures. I saw actual video of her. And I'm like, man, WWE dodged a bullet, At least that's how I see it. Because you look at her and you're like, do we really need her right now? The women's division is thriving. You have women coming up from NXT. They don't need her. If people think she's an actual needle mover right now in WWE, she's not. Is she a big name? Yeah. There's a lot of big names that aren't needle movers. Those are two different things. Big name does not equal needle mover. Needle movers are the top of the top big names. Rock is a needle mover. Roman Reigns is a needle mover. Cody Rhodes, I would say, is not. Big name, great in the ring, not a needle mover. Charlotte Flair, big name, not a needle mover. I really don't think so. Those are the special top 1% that it's not a slight to anyone to say you're not a needle mover, because it is it's rarefied air. You aren't just by default a big name and then become somebody that is a needle mover. What I mean by needle mover, I don't think I've said that phrase this many times in a row, is somebody that actually brings in a spike in ratings, literally moves the needle. A big spike in ratings, a big spike in revenue when they're around. You can track it minute by minute. Ratings are that detailed now. You can see who and what is affecting ratings. And I don't think Sasha Banks is that. She may have gotten an initial, spike in ratings, but it would have flatlined quick. So I don't think that the WWE missed out on her. They don't need her. Just like they don't need Ronda Rousey. That's a whole nother subject I could go off on a tangent on. They don't need Ronda Rousey. They really don't need any singular talent. Now, I'm not saying they don't need anyone, because if you didn't have anyone, you wouldn't have a division. I'm saying a single talent is not necessary to sustain the women's movement. There's nobody that important. So while I'm slamming Sasha Banks and her just incessant, just unwatchable arrogance, there's not anyone else on the roster that I would say, yeah, well, but she sucks. But boy, if they lost Becky Lynch, or if they lost Nia Jax, or if they lost Lyra Valkyria, or if they lost Charlotte, or if they lost Bayley, no, none of those women singled out. If they lost them, would the women's division collapse? It wouldn't happen, because the women's division at this point has been redefined. There's always someone else ready to step into your shoes. And yeah, your star power may be gone, but the perception of what women's wrestling has changed, and changed for the better, and changed clearly for the better because fans are more invested in it than ever. So that's what's most important. So I don't know how the hell I got on that, but Kyle, listen, she's your favorite wrestler. That's cool, man. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. But to me, what you see with Mercedes Moné is what I've seen with Sasha Banks, but you're seeing, to me, everything I hated about Sasha Banks on steroids. I magnified things that were just kind of niche, like issues I had with her, but they have been magnified with Mercedes Moné. So now you're kind of seeing what I saw with Sasha Banks. So there, I think we've kind of reached an understanding. So, all right. That'll do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Those of you that are going to, send me bad reviews on Apple Podcasts, I think right about now is the time. So go ahead and do that. Put the 1-star rating in. He's negative all the time. I'm waiting. I'll be waiting for them. Please do. I'm taunting you guys to do it. But because honestly, here's the thing. Even if you do, it helps me, because anytime I get a rating at all, that helps. So if you want to really hurt me, and hurt me where I, maybe my tummy hurts and I shed a tear, don't do anything at all. Just don't leave me a review. That's the best way. So if you've come up with this idea that you're going to, slam me on the social media, or slam me on the Apple Podcast review, and you're saying, oh, I really got him. Yeah, but did you? You understand how algorithms work, right? But I don't know. I'm being a jerk, so I'm going to head out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to go ad-free, you can do that. You really can. At Apple Podcasts, you can do it there for a week ad-free. You can go on to Patreon, and you can go ad-free there. I appreciate all the patrons there. I really do. The Discord chat's always a blast during PLEs, and you can check out that and get access to the private Discord server. And I'll be back tomorrow, and then back Tuesday, and then back Wednesday. I say Wednesday, but that hasn't happened in a while. But I still get the mailbag out, one way or another, in pieces or all at once. I do. So that'll be doing it for me tonight, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.